Welcome back to Lord Gizmo. In the next 30 minutes, you are going to witness an amazing transformation of a 2022 Dodge Ram ProMaster van. From empty cargo space to a mobile home. The very first step of this build is insulation. Without it, this van turns into an oven in the summer and a freezer in the winter. A proper thermal layer locks the temperature in and keeps the outside weather out, no matter what the forecast says. The subfloor goes in first, solid plywood that creates a strong, stable base for everything that builds on top of it. Next, a ladder gets mounted on the outside of the van, giving easy roof access whenever it's needed. This system at the base serves as a shock absorber. It dampens road vibrations while driving, preventing the ladder from rattling against the van body. Wood framing goes up next, forming the structural backbone of the entire interior layout. Wooden battens get glued directly onto the van's metal roof first, holding them in position along the natural curve. Each wooden batten gets precisely cut and perfectly fitted to the curve of the roof before anything else. Once the glue sets, screws go in to lock everything permanently in place, creating a solid framework that the ceiling panels, lights, and wiring all attach to. A swivel base plate gets bolted directly onto the van's floor, where the original seat mount sits. The seat then attaches on top of this base plate, allowing it to rotate a full 180 degrees. This converts a fixed, forward-facing seat into one that turns freely toward the living space. It makes the interior far more flexible. The seat works for driving and doubles as comfortable living room seating when the van is parked. Swivel seats go in, turning fixed positions into flexible seating that makes the most of every inch of interior space. They cut into the roof for the ventilation system, using tape to mark clean, precise lines before the blade ever touches the metal. A duct frame gets installed around the opening first, with holes punched into it so it bolts securely onto the roof and holds the fan firmly in place. Though the duct frame gets fixed using screws, a gap still remains around the edges. That gap gets filled with sealing paste, applied carefully through a cork gun. Once the sealant is set, the marking tape gets pulled off, leaving a clean, weather-tight finish. 2 max air fans going into the roof will keep fresh air flowing through the entire living space at all times. Now, the roof needs something strong enough to hold the solar panels firmly in place against highway winds, and that means a heavy-duty roof rack goes on. The roof rack gets bolted directly through the van's roof into the metal ribs underneath, creating a connection strong enough to handle highway speeds. Each bolt point gets sealed with weatherproof sealant to prevent any water from getting in through the holes. Each solar panel gets fitted into its own metal frame before anything goes on the roof. Aluminum extrusion rails get cut to the exact dimensions of the solar panels and bolted together to form a rigid rectangular frame. The panels then sit inside this frame and get secured with mounting clamps that grip the edges tight. The whole frame gets pre-assembled on the ground before it ever goes up on the roof. While he completes the frame for the solar panels, let's talk about something interesting. Mobile living is not a new idea. It traces back to the 1920s when Americans first started converting vehicles into travel homes during the early road trip era. The concept truly exploded in the 1960s and 70s across the United States when a generation of travelers embraced the freedom of living on the road full-time. Today, it is most popular in North America, Western Europe, and Australia, where vast open roads and national parks make it a genuinely practical lifestyle. And with rising housing costs across the country, a well-built van like this one is starting to make more financial sense than a mortgage. Now, the real question. Do you think it is actually practical to live inside a van full-time? Drop your answer in the comments below. We would love to know what you think. Solar panels go up on the roof rack, soaking up sunlight and turning it into free electricity wherever the van travels. This setup gives the van a reliable, self-sufficient power source. No hookups, no generators, just clean energy for life off the grid. Next comes the wiring. Cables run through the van and connect to all the electrical components that power the build. Every cable gets routed cleanly through the van, with connections placed exactly where they need to be, because one loose wire or a poorly placed socket can cause serious problems down the road. Running electrical in a van is one of the most technical parts of the entire build. Every cable has to be the right gauge, routed away from heat sources and protected against vibration that never stops while the van is moving. One wrong connection in the entire system can trip a fuse, drain the battery, or in the worst case, start a fire. It gets carefully secured in place, meeting all safety standards for reliable use on the road. With the wiring done, a propane tank goes in, the fuel source that powers the van's appliances on the road. Every wiring connection gets tested to confirm the electrical system is fully operational and fault-free. A propane tank is not something you just bolt in and forget. It has to be mounted in a ventilated area so any gas leaks escape outside the van and never build up inside. Mounting the propane tank underneath the van keeps it completely outside the living space, so even if a small leak occurs, the gas vents harmlessly into open air instead of building up inside. It also frees up valuable interior space and keeps the tank away from any heat sources inside the van. The tank connects to the cooktop through a regulated line that controls the gas pressure at a safe, consistent level. Every fitting gets checked for leaks before the system is ever used. Even mounted underneath, the nozzle stays fully accessible, making refills quick and easy without having to remove or reposition the tank. Spray foam insulation goes on next, creating a tight barrier that blocks heat and cold from every corner of the van. Spray foam comes in two-part canisters that mix at the nozzle and expand rapidly the moment they hit the surface. The tricky part is controlling that expansion. Spray too much in one area and it pushes through gaps, warps panels, and creates a mess that is very hard to clean up. Every gap, corner, and hard-to-reach cavity has to be hit before the foam sets, because once it cures, it becomes rock solid and nearly impossible to remove. The good news is that when done right, spray foam bonds directly to the metal surface and lasts for the lifetime of the van without shrinking, shifting, or losing its insulating properties. Thin wood strips get laid across the ceiling framework, covering the entire roof in a clean, uniform finish. Once every strip is in place, the whole ceiling gets a fresh coat of paint that ties everything together. The result is a smooth, polished roof that looks like it belongs in a proper home, not a cargo van. A plastic cover piece snaps around the fan opening on the inside ceiling, hiding the rough edges and giving it a neat, finished look. Shiplap wall panels go up next, bringing a clean, modern look to the interior. Each shiplap board has an L-shaped notch cut into the top and bottom edge, allowing the boards to overlap and lock tightly together. The overlapping wooden planks add texture and warmth, turning plain walls into a stylish design feature. Each plank gets carefully placed, locking in a seamless fit across every wall. Shiplap is also highly versatile. It takes paint easily, fitting any style from classic traditional to clean contemporary. On top of looking great, shiplap is tough enough to handle the daily wear and tear of life on the road. Some areas are trickier than others. Curved doors and side windows take extra care to get a clean, precise fit. Every piece has to be cut to match the exact curve before it fits snugly into place. The trim goes up above the rear doors, tying the whole interior together with a clean, cohesive finish. Thank you for staying with us this far. Make sure to subscribe to Lord Gizmo so you don't miss a single step of this build. The flooring gets chosen for three things: durability, good looks, and the ability to hold up under the demands of van life. Every panel gets measured precisely, ensuring a perfect fit with no gaps or uneven surfaces. Edges and corners get carefully finished, giving the floor a clean, polished look that also adds to its long-term durability. Now, it's time for the solar power system, a complete setup that changes how energy is managed inside the van. The system charges three ways: through the solar panels, the van's alternator, and shore power. This gives the van reliable power whether it's moving down the highway or parked for the night. Having three charging options means maximum flexibility. The system always finds the most efficient way to keep power flowing. Cabinets get carefully measured and installed, bringing an organized, structured look to the interior. Dedicated storage spaces get built in throughout the van, keeping everything organized and within easy reach. The cabinet doors get adjusted until they align perfectly, opening and closing with a smooth, clean action. A beautiful countertop goes in, adding a stylish, functional surface for cooking and everyday tasks. It fits perfectly alongside the cabinets, pulling the whole kitchen area together into one cohesive design. The transition between the countertop and cabinets is flawless, a clear sign of excellent craftsmanship. The finishing touches go on, completing a sophisticated and fully functional interior. Moldings get carefully attached to the cabinets, giving the interior that final polished, finished look. The kitchen gets a modern cooktop, giving the van a proper, efficient cooking space. Next, a complete water system goes in, bringing real plumbing and everyday convenience straight into the van. A water heater gets mounted next, ensuring a steady supply of hot water for showers and dishes on the road. A spacious water tank gets secured in place, storing enough water to handle extended trips without worry. Every component gets connected, plumbing and electrical hookups all tied together for seamless operation. The entire system gets thoroughly tested, confirming every connection is secure and completely leak-free. A custom composting toilet gets built right into the bench seat structure, fitting seamlessly into the design. Precise measurements and careful modifications ensure a perfect fit and full functionality. Every detail is complete, leaving behind a beautifully functional, comfortable living space ready for the open road. If you enjoyed this build, make sure to hit subscribe and stay tuned for more incredible transformations right here on Lord Gizmo. And a big credit to Alluvium Inc. for the outstanding work on this van. A stunning interior packed with every essential feature and custom detail done to perfection.